All right, so we see the stat line for Caitlin Clark. She's averaging 21.6 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and then if we go down, she's averaging a block as well. 5 turnovers right now, 43% from the field, 36 from the three. What shooting that is. And then she's doing 72 from the free throw. Definitely want her to get that up. But we see the stats, right? We see the stats. Now, if we go to ESPN, Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found. Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be found.
Although Caitlin Clark is making rookie history, the WNBA leaderboards seem to indicate that she is on vacation. Just vibrations, no assists or points. Either someone is allergic to giving her credit, or the league is employing invisible ink. How do you unintentionally overlook your most well-liked player? You don't. Spoiler alert. Get ready for the amusing and perplexing tale of how the WNBA is attempting to ghost Caitlin Clark's stats like a nasty ex.
And Reese remain 2 of the most popular players in the WNBA. However, it's Clark who holds the edge when it comes to viewership and attendance rating. When you say hold the edge, that makes it seem like it's a small margin. No. It's a severe lead. It is a significant gap between the two when it comes to viewership and attendance. Edge, not the best choice of words in this instant. Yet the Women's National Basketball Players Association, the union for current women's professional basketball players in the WNBA, recently decided against Clark. Shocker.
And just when you thought the WNBA leaderboard mystery was crazy enough, ESPN shows up with a shovel to hide Caitlin Clark's statistics as if they were a threat to national security. The world's top athlete should be able to manage a few numbers. Perhaps even draw attention to the fact that the rookie who has received the most attention in years is, well, dominating. Instead, they have accomplished the statistical equivalent of shutting off the lights and acting as though no one is home while Caitlin is knocking on the door of glory.
She would be right in this area, number 2. And I get it, these players have played more games, cool. But fam, if that is the case, why is Caitlin Clark right here at 3 points made? Why is she right here at 3 points made? If that is the case, she would be completely off of the list, right? She would be gone, wiped off, if it was all about the games. Why is she right here? Right? This looks disingenuous, man. I'm just keeping it a grain. We know who has the most assists right now. You have Paige Beckers up here. We know who has more assists, who's averaging the most assists right now. And you have Paige Beckers right here. Come on, fam. Like, I'm just saying, man. This don't look disingenuous.
When you navigate around ESPN's website, it turns into a hide-and-seek game. The only numbers that are concealed are Caitlin's, and ESPN is acting as though they have terrible counting skills. Do you want to see league leaders in efficiency, scoring, and assists? I wish you luck. There is no mention of Caitlin Clark, unless you select turnovers. Abruptly, she appears like a genie imprisoned in the oops column. ESPN seemed to say, "Oh, you want Clark? She and the other troublemakers are over there."
God, that eventually we find out that maybe Caitlin Clark was asked to do this and maybe she said no, because if that's not the case, then the WNBA and the Players Association, the WNBA PA, and the league, to be honest, continue to disrespect the far and away biggest draw that this women's hoops league's got that they've ever seen.
Her stats seem to have been moved to the penalty box. It doesn't matter that she's setting records, boosting a team, and yanking defenders around like leashed kids. The only statistic worth keeping track of, according to ESPN's math wizards, is the number of times she has dropped the ball, not the amount of dimes or points she scores from a different zip code. No, only the two.
Jealousy and sheer incompetence are going to be the 3 main reasons why the WNBA never reaches the popularity, never reaches the shine that they think they deserve. Stubbornness, incompetence, and jealousy are going to be the reasons why Caitlin Clark remains at the mountaintop and nobody else ends up even being close to joining her up there, and it's all the WNBA, the players, the executives, Kathy Engelbert. It is all their fault. They're far too jealous, they're far too stubborn, and from a business sense, they are all far too incompetent. What am I talking about?
She deserved the spotlight because of her gall, the pettiness of spreadsheets. It seems like someone in the ESPN bunker entered Caitlin Clark into Excel, became overwhelmed, and simply pushed delete. The fact that these folks have graphics prepared for each NFL player that sneezes close to a touchdown is very wealthy. However, Caitlin Clark is almost holding the WNBA's ratings on her back while putting up double-doubles and lighting up sold-out arenas. Let's simply move her to the background in silence, as if she had unintentionally entered the wrong room. It's not that there isn't any data. There is data. If you scroll, dig, cross-reference, solve a puzzle, and carry out a blood ritual, you can locate it. However, front and center, where the majority Caitlin might as well be a hologram, of course. In the meantime, players that have a fifth of the fan base and half the influence are categorized as royalty. It's selective memory disguised as data filters, not just exclusion. It's so transparent that you can't help but giggle. ESPN has every resource imaginable. Split-screen analysis, AI-powered projections, and live statistics. But Caitlin Clark's numbers were lost in the system. Which system? A troll-run filing cabinet. Let's pretend she's not a real bug, but even the intern posting box scores appears to have caught it. Perhaps they're worried that the internet might collapse under the weight of real facts if they display her statistics.
Come on, man. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense right here, man. Angel Reese still top dogging in rebounds. And even with Jonquel missed games. She missed some games. And she's still on the list. What's going on? What's going on with this, man? Let me see, who else? Boston doing a good job. She's in the top 5. Oh, tied number 4. Okay, I see you. Boston doing a good job. Steals. We got Gabby Williams. Gabby's been going crazy. And the feed, Asia. And then they got Paige Beckers on there. Fam, let me see. I'm going to click complete leaders. Let me see if they don't have Caitlin anywhere.
Ironically, her numbers do appear, but not in the expected location. They show up if you're curious enough to look at the turnovers tab, which seems to be the only area ESPN thinks Caitlin belongs. It's similar like having a talent show and giving Beyoncé the task of cleaning up after someone didn't like her sparkles. Yes, they will gladly bring her up in passing when it makes sense for the story, but when it comes time to place her with her colleagues, they all give her the thumbs down. It's now more of a planned disappearing act than a statistical error. A group of illusionists, not just one magician, made her magnificence vanish behind a curtain of indifference. Sorry, we overlooked her once more. How many times does that justification fly before it begins to sound like a strategy? Let's also take a moment to discuss those turnovers, because someone has obviously been waiting to utilize it if it is the sole stat that gets her name on the list. The Clark turnover count tracker is locked and loaded as if it were proof that she doesn't belong. Nevertheless, every rookie in basketball history has turned the ball over. Do you know what learning curves are? Apparently not. They portray Caitlin Clark as a disorganized ball handler, as though she's simply tossing the ball out of bounds in between logo threes.
The exact abuse that they're giving Caitlin Clark right now to Sabrina Ionescu. Like, let's be real, you can look. If you read what some of these things have said about Sabrina Ionescu before Caitlin Clark walked in the league, but now they have the new bully victim. And it's so funny looking at it where you're like, all these, it's so clear that these people, it's just an anti-Caitlin people, because it's like an enemy of my enemy is my friend, where it's like they are these individual pages where you look at the players they hype up, and Paige Beckers, and by the way, by all accounts, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark are friends. They'll have their profile's Angel Reese, and the players are going to hype up as Paige Beckers because she is a rival to Caitlin Clark. And let's be real, that's an actual rivalry. Paige Beckers is really damn good.
They failed to mention that, despite being blitzed, bobbed, and nearly assaulted every night, she is managing the offense like a seasoned veteran. They won't claim that she is in charge of a team that, before to her arrival, was allergic to victory. The context, the strain, the playmaking, and the weight of expectations will not be depicted. They only want to display a turnover statistic as if it were her storied. To be honest, you aren't analyzing if your only flex is turnovers. You're running for office. It's not journalism. It's shaded using a spreadsheet. In contrast, players who are less effective provide fewer assists, score fewer points, and more media somehow, like cream in a rigged coffee maker. Silence is rising to the top of ESPN statistics. Their efforts are being commended. Caitlin is outperforming players twice her age and being treated like an uninvited visitor at her own party, while being essentially duped into believing that her 25-point evenings were a fever dream. Nevertheless, she continues to appear. Dishes are still dimes. Steph Curry would recoil at Bill's logo shots. She is influencing the league's future in addition to playing. Additionally, ESPN is playing peekaboo with her figures as if they are afraid the truth would come to light. Here are some suggestions. Perhaps recognize that she exists outside of the ERUPTS category if the games you watch most frequently feature a single participant. However, it's not limited to ESPN. There are repercussions from this. Everyone starts singing the same song when the largest sports network sets the tone. Talk programs pretend to be perplexed by the excitement. Her significance is minimized by pundits. And all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is the nation's most talked about athlete in this bizarre world narrative, and inexplicably insufficient to be included in stat rankings.
I need to sit here and be honest. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for maybe Angel Reese. That is pure honesty. No casual fan knows who any of these players are except for Angel Reese. WNBA old guard fans, they know who these ladies are. People who follow the league, they know who these players are. People who are responsible for the increase in viewership, who are responsible for the increase in attendance, they don't know who any of these players are except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Let's be honest here. Except for Angel Reese and potentially Cameron Brink. Paige Beckers, stop. Kelsey Plum, stop. Nafisa Collier, cut it out. Nafisa Collier, great player.
In contemporary sports media, this paradox is the most amusing. What if LeBron had this treatment during his rookie season? Oh, turnovers or Steph Curry are the reason we dropped him off the rankings. Yes, he made 9 3-pointers, but did you notice the one time he dribbled off his foot? It is indolent. It is computed. It is biased in a cartoonish way. It's also referred to as covering. Let's be honest. Nobody would care if Caitlin were to flip the ball from the bench. However, as she scores, assists, and pulls her team out of obscurity, she's turning it over. They are solely interested in her faults, even though she is performing the work. That is not an analysis. That's a high-heeled agenda. Additionally, while ESPN plays hide-and-seek with her influence, the fans are not foolish. They are aware of what is happening. They are observing. They are purchasing tickets. They are paying attention to her. She is more than a mere performer. ESPN would prefer to portray her as merely a footnote in someone else's highlight reel, despite the fact that she is a phenomenon. The worst part was that even if she wasn't doing well, they would still bring her up to make fun of her. She is in this peculiar Bermuda Triangle of the media, too good to ignore, too dangerous to commend. Instead, they highlight her in turnovers, the one statistic intended to discredit her. That's her entire narrative, really. Put aside the scores, steals, assists, and moments that changed the course of the game. Let's concentrate on the few unsuccessful plays. Genius. Furthermore, let's not act as though this is a fairness issue. This has to do with control. Control over who gets to represent the league, control over the story, and control over the spotlight. Her statistics were not inadvertently overlooked by ESPN. They were buried. They classified them as balance and placed them in the worst category.
The craziest stats I've seen yet, and I feel like we say this all the time, like, wow, this is one of the craziest Caitlin Clark-related stats that I've seen. Evergreen. She has played 42 games. She now has the most 25-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. 42 games, most 25 and 10 games in WNBA history. She is tied for the most 20 and 10 games in WNBA history. Courtney Vandersloot has 10. Diana Taurasi had 9. Sloot has played 430 games. Taurasi played 565 games. Again, Caitlin Clark has played 42 games. That is unbelievable.
However, the truth isn't being concealed if Caitlin Clark's stat line is. It is prevalent on social media. It is prominently displayed in every sold-out venue and written in the ratings. She is outplaying half the league and has a spotlight larger than ESPN's homepage, and no amount of digital foot dragging or leaderboard manipulation will change that. Allow them to continue using the numbers to play games. Let them act as though turnovers are the main plot point because, whether they realize it or not, the true tale is taking place. One hidden stat at a time, Caitlin Clark is already rewriting the script that is completely suspicious, fishy, and plain shady on par with a cartoon villain. Because this is the problem. I went to look at the assist leaderboard after ESPN determined that Caitlin Clark's numbers should be in the timeout corner. You know, to make sure reality hadn't fallen apart. And what did I discover? Nothing. No C, no Clark, not even a clerk. I went through the entire help list 3 times, as if it were a Where's Waldo site. And you know what? It's hilarious that Caitlin was the only player in the league who seemed to have forgotten how to pass the ball, especially because she's out there delivering laser-guided assistance through traffic like she has her retinas are equipped with a GPS device. ESPN's assist column is sitting there like they've never heard of the woman while she's dropping dimes like she works for the Federal Reserve. No emphasis, reference, or acknowledgement. They seem to be attempting to deceive everyone into thinking she is not genuine. Perhaps Nike in Indiana created the myth of Caitlin Clark.
All right, so we've talked WNBA, we've talked Angel Reese, we've talked all the things that are going on. There's been this back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlin Clark has been injured. So she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark.
They're behaving as though she doesn't belong in the league. As if she were just a summer intern wearing gorgeous sneakers who unintentionally scored 30 points after wandering onto the court. In the meantime, players who have fewer assists, less of an impact on the game, and a highlight reel that only includes 1 layup and a power walk manage to live comfortably on that list, as if they were renting real estate. But no, Caitlin. She must have disappeared after tripping over a media embargo. Furthermore, the list wasn't particularly lengthy. I wasn't searching through obscure European leagues or ancient texts. We are discussing a straightforward stat page on America's largest sports platform. The same website that can quickly explain how many throwing yards does a third-string quarterback have when playing away from home in chilly weather? Unfortunately, Caitlin Clark's help numbers are not available. Most likely stuck in traffic. Once the league has stopped harboring resentment, return. Don't fool ourselves. This goes beyond simply forgetting to update the webpage. This blackout is deliberate. It seems as though someone at ESPN made the decision that she already receives too much attention. Let's simply not.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever, who looked like a completely different team, as Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the season. Clark made those passes that are just gorgeous dimes. She hit the logo bombs, 3 of them in 38 seconds. The kind of things that just make you make incomprehensible noises, like, oh! Like you can't control it when you're watching it because...
As if giving credit where credit is due will somehow lead to anarchy within the WNBA's precarious system. It is highly unlikely that the rookie who is leading her squad in playmaking will be acknowledged as such. I can't have that. It wouldn't be appropriate. It's similar to witnessing a group project in which one team member completes all of the work and the others attempt to vote them off the island because they are overpowering the atmosphere. Even if Caitlyn is bringing a franchise back into the spotlight, selling out arenas, and increasing viewership minute by minute, the assistant columnist acts as though she is allergic to death. To be honest, the mental acrobatics needed to ignore her at this stage are worthy of an Olympic medal event. Somewhere, Simone Biles is taking notes. Furthermore, this goes beyond a single statistic. This is a component of the pattern. The mainstream sports machine searches for the one perspective they can turn into a negative every time Caitlin Clark accomplishes something amazing, which is, to be fair, about every 8.5 minutes. She receives a score of 30. Let's discuss that one turnover. She smashes a record. She was given a screen by someone. In terms of assists, she leads the league. She doesn't, I see. Not if you switch off your Wi-Fi and squint hard enough. This does not constitute coverage. This is user interface sabotage.
Listen to what one Colin Cowherd had to say on Sunday after that special Saturday night performance. Let's take a look.
Can we talk about the simmering cauldron that is women's basketball right now? No, not the Indiana Fever. I'm talking about the cauldron of executives in the WNBA. Since Caitlin Clark got injured, WNBA ratings have dropped 55%. That's not just the Fever's ratings. It's not just a local dip. That's league-wide. Now, to the suits in the league office, that may be a little eye-opening, but for the rest of us, nah, not really. We're in an attention economy, and Caitlin Clark is the currency. No American athlete right now, male or female, drives clicks, views, or conversation like she does. She's the rising tide.
Not to mention that the assist statistic is objective. It's not like the best bench energy or the most motivating warm-up. This is hard, cold data. Either you made the pass that resulted in a basket or you didn't. Caitlin participated in every game numerous times. There are highlight films for each of her passes. Nevertheless, the most well-known rookie in America is nowhere to be discovered after 3 rounds of the standings. It raises the question, what are they terrified of? Are they concerned that the figures would make their beloved stories seem absurd? That placing Caitlin in statistical categories with veterans will burst the carefully crafted media bubble surrounding some players because, let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is making people care about the W by doing in a matter of weeks what others haven't done in years. But somehow she's the only one who gets left off the report card. Perhaps the idea is to annoy the supporters until they stop talking. Perhaps they believe that if they keep her identity a secret long enough, the excitement will subside. We might forget about her court vision, basketball IQ, and generational influence if they bury her assists. Here's the issue with that reasoning, though. This isn't some novelty that happens quickly. I'm Caitlin Clark. Her greatness is not being questioned by the basketball community. Every night, they watch it live and in color. ESPN's deception just serves to make them appear like the child who covers their eyes and believes they are invisible.
NBA is trying to peg some young guys as face of the league. They had Ant and SGA play in the Western Conference Finals, and it had the lowest rating in 4 years. They're trying. You say, well, the markets are small. Well, Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever. What does that matter? This goes to show that markets do not matter. That's all nonsense. If LeBron James, when LeBron James was in Cleveland, we never said, well, the ratings are great. It's amazing. It's in Cleveland. Stars transcend state lines. Right now, she's the biggest basketball star in the world, not named LeBron and Steph.
It is excruciatingly clear point 10 times a day. They will play videos of the same 3 other players. Like their national landmarks, they will demolish poor plays. However, despite being triple-teamed, Caitlin Clark threaded passes between defenders. That goes up next to your expired ESPN Plus subscription in the recycle bin. It's more than simply an omission at this point. It's a show. Fans have taken note. The bloggers have taken note. Every time ESPN attempts to casually wipe her from existence, social media lights up like a Christmas tree. They continue to act as though it's only a coincidence, a small mistake. There's nothing to see. Clark, meantime, is accumulating assists as if she were in a passing simulator. Additionally, it appears from the leaderboard that she works as a ghost. The truth is louder than ever, even if they continue to conceal the numbers. Every highlight that is overlooked, every stat line that is omitted, and every dubious omission only serves to fuel the flames. ESPN doesn't have to tell us that Caitlin Clark is exceptional. She has the receipts already, and her name won't go away whether they like it or not. In actuality, it will become much more difficult to ignore.